What up? What up, YouTube? Can y'all hear me? What's up? This is Mr. Royce of Royce Media coming at you guys with another live stream. How y'all doing? This is the Road Rage Show. Going live on YouTube today. I didn't set my Rumble stream. I didn't feel like going through it. Instead, I'm just gonna rock out on YouTube. We'll see where this takes us. I'm gonna be on here too long. Just want to run my mouth a little bit, so it is what it is. What up? How y'all doing today? Let me see if I can turn my mic up a little bit. That better? God damn it. Around here dropping stuff, man. Let me see if I can turn this mic up. That's all the way up. What about now? Is that better? Make sure I don't have any limiters on here. Make sure I got this boy turned all the way up. Yeah, it's all the way up. So very low. Very low. Let me see. What about now? Ooh. What about that? That better? That better? Ooh. Getting reverb. Not looking for that. Turn the gain up a little bit. Hold on. What about that? Turn that gain down. Turn the gain down some. What about that? All right. What y'all got going today, man? You chilling? I'm chilling. Had, had my local, had my daily house husband duties. Had to clean my smoke out, whatnot. Clean my grills and stuff. Get them nice and spiffy. Appreciate you, Cortez. Yeah, man. So, man, it seems like how y'all like my hat? I like my hat, bro. Yeah, I had to rock a cowboy hat today. I like to do that from time to time. I like my cowboy hat. Yeah. Yeah, man. Like wearing cowboy hats, like riding horses, like doing all kinds of stuff. A lot of dudes don't do. I like to get outside, so well, thank you, sir. Yeah, so we're gonna give it a few minutes to get some more people into live stream, and then I'll continue to gap, continue to babble, run my mouth. One of the things I want to talk about was recently, I guess the kid that plays Tariq from Power, he uh he got groped up by a big girl, you know. So we'll talk about that a little bit because I've had that happen numerous times. I I am not what you would call a select guy as far as like height. Not very tall. I stand 5'11", you know. And I'm not one of those 666 dudes. I certainly don't have a six pack nowadays. I had a six pack for a long time, but I got old, fat, started living a good life, eating a lot of good food, and six pack went away. When I was younger, I had the 8 pack, man. I had that 8 pack. Yeah, yeah. But height wise, I'm not a select guy. But you know what? For some reason, um, yeah, women would uh would grope me up, and I tell you something, I didn't like it. And I didn't like it because my thing is that, if I groped a woman in the same way, there's gonna be problems. It was gonna be problems, man. You know. And so my thing has always been, don't touch me, and I won't touch you. Respect my person, I'll respect yours. Cortez Smith says, I think guys exaggerate height stuff online. I don't see women going for tall dudes in real life. Other stuff, yeah, but not height. Yeah. You know what? I know a lot of women, and I've seen a lot of women through the years that have said height was their preference, but I would say more women don't really care. That most, I would say most women don't really care. Um, I've seen most women with guys with of average height, anywhere between 5'6", 5'7", and taller. But I don't see it. It's not like you see all these guys that be 6 foot plus, with these tropes of women chasing them down. So the height thing, I don't really buy it. I think about my brother. My brother is every bit of 5'7", and this dude got 17 kids. Yes, you heard right. My brother has 17 kids. So, and it's not 17 kids by one woman, you know. So yeah, man. And Cortez says I get felt on too. I don't like the double standard. Yeah, yeah, man. It's it's a mess, but it does exist. Cortez says maybe it's my location because every other person is tall here, but even online, the women talk about are not tall. Right. Ain't nothing funnier. I got an aunt, and she's every bit of 5'2". And she's always talking about, you know, um, wanting a man 6'5". And I'm like, you are just about 70 years old and you're still by yourself. All of that wanting, you forget it. The days are done. Man, Cortez says, I played basketball my whole life, so the height thing is really funny to me. Never had teammates getting women based on height. Yeah, I know some tall cats that are tall, real, goofy bodies, and they they don't have it, they don't got it popping like that. You know, the guys that usually, in my experience, that I've seen that do get a lot of women, these are usually guys that are in good shape, good to great shape. I know a lot of cats, 5'6", 5'7", 5'8", 5'10", that keep themselves in pretty good shape. Some of them keep themselves in great shape, and they keep women. They keep bad women too. You know, they keep they keep a roster of sixes and sevens. And I'm gonna tell you something, that with that whole rating scale, your average woman is anywhere between a 4 and a 6. If you got a 6, that's a good looking woman you can take out in public, not be embarrassed. She looked good when she gets dolled up and stuff. That's a 6. When you start hitting sevens and aboves, that's literally a different caliber woman. But the average woman is between 4 and a 6. You know. Cortez says, I mean, even the men online, women say they like are not tall. For example, mugshot bros. Exactly. Exactly. Cortez says there are outliers who like 6'10 and a woman might want a baby from them, but that's pretty much it. It's funny you brought that up because that whole thing with like height and features and stuff, when you hear women say that, all that is bedroom eugenics. That's the term I came up with a few years ago. I call it bedroom eugenics. This is basically a woman looking to correct her genetic defects. Whatever she feels is a genetic defect, that's what she's trying to correct. This is why you see um, BBWs and BSWs, big sloppy women. This is why they like them fit muscular guys because they figure that the babies that they'll have will take the man's genetics. So that's what I call it. When you see women talk about guys with different eye colors or hair textures and height and stuff, that's all that is them trying to correct their genetic faults. you know. And we know this because of the specs that they um that they when they have to go buy sperm, when they have to go buy semen, these are the things that they look for. These are the things that when they have their laundry list of what they want, these are the things on the laundry list. He's got to have this height. He's got to have, this eye color. He's got to have this skin tone. He got to have this head texture, so forth and so on. When you look at guys like the guy that was selling sperm in the Walmart bathrooms, you know, you look at him, he had decent height, white Jewish guy and stuff. These were women, they were looking to do bedroom genetics at bargain basement prices. That's all that is. That's all that is, man. And you know, and this is reflected in their laundry list of what they want for guys. Cortez says, "Oh yeah, also why women like men who are the opposite skin tone. They want lighter skin, they want lighter babies because they feel their skin color ain't good. Yep, even lighter women want darker kids. I think it's because they were told that they weren't black enough. All right, I got a sister who um she's got a naturally brown hair. She's very light skinned. She looks like if you ordered Lisa Ray from Wish. I love my sister, but she fits in that Lisa Ray demographic, and all every guy except one that she was attracted to was dark skinned guys. They had to be tall, but she liked very dark skinned guys. She even dated an African dude for a while, big tall African, but that's what she likes. She likes them real dark skinned guys. And when you see, like, my sister is about 2 to 3 shades lighter than I am, very light skinned. She got that from my maternal side, my mother's side, you know. And man, that's what she likes. I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you remember Rashida Strober. Rashida Strober, very dark skinned girl. Um, she was all the dark skinned activist. She would always be ranting on about colorism and stuff. But she wouldn't got a light skinned boyfriend, very light skinned boyfriend, dude damn near looked like Chico the Barge, you know. So yeah, so you got a point with that. Definitely Cortez. That's something I'm seeing as well. You know. So yeah, man. But that's all that is. But getting back to this situation with Tariq and Powers, I think what's the kid's name? He's a junior. I know that. Like Michael Reed Jr., something like that. He was at one of his buddy's house while his buddy was filming, or his buddy was videoing a podcast. He was live streaming, interviewing somebody, and this Michael Reed kid or whatever his name is, he was there supporting his friend. And that's what friends do. Nothing wrong with that. He's sitting in the back, observing, checking stuff out. And the guy that's doing the podcast, his sister walks up to Michael Reed and she says something. She starts talking to him. And as she's talking to him, she grabs him in his crotch area, you know. And so he moved the hand away. And then, she said something else and she grabbed him again. He clearly looked uncomfortable. This was an uncomfortable situation for him. And I definitely understand, man. She one, she put him on blast. Two, it's offensive. You can't do stuff like that. You can't do stuff like that to people. And then three, in my opinion, that's a setup for a possible Me Too case in the future. You know, if he would have went, she'd come back later and say, "Oh yeah, he did this to me. He violated me. And next he's in the trick bag. His career's in jeopardy. His name and reputation will be ruined by something like that. And you know, um, nothing would have happened to her. In a situation like that, as a man, what do you do? What do you do? You know, Especially if you're a man like that, he's in film, you know, he's got a little name out there, he's probably got a little money. He can't sue her. He can't sue her. She don't have anything. What does she got? You look at it, she had number three kids. That's all she got. She had three kids. So she don't have anything. You go to the authorities, first of all, and I'm gonna say something, you know, most of the police departments, especially in urban areas, what are they made up of? Irish white men. Irish white men are very, in my opinion, very very maternal. They worship women. Everybody's the Mother Mary to them. So they're not going to take it serious. Black guys don't take it serious because, black men, first of all, black men in the US have a terrible reputation for being super thirsty and putting their Johnsons in anything in anybody. Any and every woman has a chance as long as black dudes exist. Straight up. Straight up. You know, straight up. So they're not gonna take him serious. They're gonna think, he's something's wrong with him, but not uh for not liking that, for not acquiescing to it. They're gonna, they're gonna clown him, so he can't say anything to them. Um, Women are not gonna take it serious because that's their power. That's one of their power bases. They know it's not gonna be taken serious by most women, so they're gonna be like, you know, they're pretty much going to say the same thing as black men. Or what you a punk? What you're a homosexual or something? That's what they do. You know. So like the only thing he can do is really put on Front Street and do like a him too movement, or um, where he can talk about what happened to him and how it made him felt, and try to SBE women into not doing stuff like that. But there's not a whole lot he can do, honestly. It's a messed up situation. you know and this happens a lot, especially the more attractive a man is, the more often this happens, you know. And it's not just young women, it's old women, it's women, it's a lot of women in general. And it's not every woman, you know, it's a lot of women in general. And the B dub is notorious for this. Now, I've been groped by um, white women, but I've been groped far more by B dubs than anybody. I mean, I just off the top of my head, I could think probably about 25 times I've been groped. And the vast majority have been B dubs. Vast majority, you know. And and they look at you like, what you gonna do? You swat their hands away and tell them, hey, don't do that. A lot of them get aggressive and try to repeat that same action. You know, it's a problem. It's problematic, man. So, but if the shoes were reversed, man, they'd have all kinds of campaigns. They had a street harassment thing a few years ago in New York to where the women didn't even want guys trying to approach them. It's crazy. Cortez says, yeah. Um, Cortez says, even light. Oh, okay. I read that one. He says, yeah, the psycho chick. Yeah, yeah. And then Cortez says, I've been felt on daily at work by BW. I had a back, I want to say like around 1997. Uh, I was working in the jail, and there was this older woman that I used to work with. She was an old crazy freak, former nurse. For some reason, she decided to get into corrections. And I think it was so she can look at Johnson's, you know. But she used to always say little crazy stuff to me. And one day I walked past her and she you know, just grabbed a handful of my Johnson. And she said, so I'm trying to see what that feel like. And I was like, whoa. First of all, we at work. Secondly, you will never see how this feel. You know, I mean, it was messed up. You know, it was messed up. But the thing with her is that it was kind of, she passed it off as that that's how she plays and stuff. But you don't play like that, especially at work. You know, it's crazy, man. Cortez says, for example, if some have to if some had to slide by me because there's not much space, they use that moment to get a feel on. I've had that happen. Um, Cortez says, I've only gotten it from Keisha and Becky. The other groups aren't as aggressive. And pretty much that's who it's been with me. Um, I would say in high school, there was a Latin chick that that groped me up, and I had to run. She was real aggressive. She's Puerto Rican, so and they're black adjacent. I know because that's part of my lineage, and I have lots of relatives in Puerto Rico. Yeah, there's some light skinned niggas. So yeah, man. But yeah, yeah. I think she was the one Latin woman that did that to me. But the rest have been, a few white women, and then vast majority have been B dubs. And this has gone on for as long as I can remember. The earliest I can think of happened like, man, back 1983. It's a chick named Terry was she was the first one to grab me, you know. And Cortez said, yeah, Puerto Rican chick Keisha, like, yeah. Dominicans too. Yep. with Smith says, I question any female who wants to be a CO. I think there's always a certain motive. Cortez, I have quite a few stories about the shenanigans female COs get into. If you want to talk about sexually aggressive um, perverts, that is the female CO. That is female CEO. I've seen some crazy, crazy stuff. I've seen a lot of women get arrested, a lot of female CEOs get arrested for having sex with inmates. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. To them, it's like a smorgasbord. It's straight up. It's like a smorgasbord. You know, that all that meat. It's like for them being that Fogarty child, something, man. It's wild. It's wild, man. So yeah, I've seen quite a bit. I've seen. I remember when I was working in the jail. I remember four different women that married inmates. While them guys was locked up, and one she married the guy after he got out. You know, but yeah, man, it was crazy. No news. What up, bro? Hey, man, I'm just yapping, just babbling. Right now we're talking about what happened to that kid that plays Tariq on Power. What recently happened with him while he was at his buddy's podcast, or while he was at his buddy's live stream. Old boy's sister, she got real handsy with him, started grabbing him in his Johnson. So yeah, hey, glad to have you here, bro. Appreciate you. Yeah, man. But yeah, you know, like I was saying, it's happened to me quite a bit. Cortez Smith was saying it happened to him quite a bit. It happens to him a lot at work. You know, I remember, man, when I was in tech school years ago, there was this big 6'1" chick from Alabama that was in tech school. And because I was in IT, years ago. Before I started actually working at the jail, I was working IT. I went to tech school, and there was this big 6'1" chick from Alabama there, big old, big dark skin. She looked like a tall Oprah Winfrey. She had these big old crazy slumped up shoulders. This chick looked like a big ass bag of body parts. And she had an eye on me, man. And you know how I've always been the kind of guy that whatever learning environment I'm in, I like to I like to do study groups. I find that doing study groups is something that helps me understand the material and learn the material. Well, great babe, yeah, exactly. Hey, yes, yes. And she had them eyes where they was beady, but like the whites was real big. So and she can, make them buck out. Yes. So, and it was during that time I actually had my eye on this little Jamaican chick I was in the class with, but that's until I found out she was wearing a wig, and then I was turned off. But yeah, this chick, with study groups, people you exchange numbers and stuff, and she would call, and I would be like, okay, let's study this material class tomorrow. And she was trying to get to know me, and I'm like, I ain't really trying to do that. I'm trying to study this material for class tomorrow. All this stuff with programming and stuff because I used to program. And so, she was trying to find out stuff about me, and she was telling me stuff about her. I didn't care. My focus was the material. And so When I seen what it was after a few calls, I was like, all right, I tried to put some distance between me and her because I didn't like how things were going. Well, one day we were in the elevator going to class, and well, I was in the elevator. As the door shutting, she stopped the door. She got in, the door closed. She walked up on me and she was like, "Give me a kiss." I mean, this chick was huge. I mean, she was big, man. I'm 5'11", man. So, she's a little bit taller than me. I'm like, whoa, and she was wearing heels. So, in them heels, she was probably about 6'4". And I mean, she pressed me, man, like in the corner in the elevator. I was like, man, oh, that was horrible. She was trying to make me give a kiss, and I was like, I pushed it back. It was like, chill, I'm no, you're not my type. And she talked a lot of shit after that. And what really made her mad was that um a girl that I went with that I was seeing in high school that played basketball. Um, she enrolled in the school as we were finishing up. She enrolled in, and she's a tall girl. Pam was about 6 feet, and she found out, you know, that it wasn't because she was tall. It was that she really saw that she wasn't what I liked, and she was really mad. she she was really mad. So, you know, had that situation. I've had numerous other situations, man, where, in professional institutional environments where, women have gotten aggressive with me and have you know approached me in a manner that had the roles been reversed, I would have been in a world of trouble. I told y'all the story not too long ago about the older chick when I was working at Helene Curtis. um I was working a temp job, and I was trying to get hired on permanently, and there was an older chick there that she was you know like middle management. She had a lot of pull with the company. And this guy, you know, that I used to work with that worked there full time, he's like, "Hey, I see you trying to get this job. You all working hard and stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, man, I want this job. They pay good." He's like, "Well, here's what you got to do. You got to take her out, and you got to pay her $400, and you're gonna have to eat that cat." I was like, I thought he was joking. And so, I was like, "Yeah, all right, whatever." So I left it alone. I dismissed it. But then she approached me later. She was like, "Yeah, I see you. You've been on this assignment a while. You trying to get hired here full time?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, I tell you what, come to my house and bring $400 with you." And I was like, "Oh no, dude was telling the truth." I was like, I was like, "No, I'm good. I don't want to do that. Why should I have to pay $400 to get this job?" But that's how she would do things, man. It was crazy, man. So I think we as men need to get out more stories like this, man. I think we need to expose a lot of the stuff that we've experienced um, with the other side of women, because there's still too much of this women are the fair sex idea that's out there. And it's really, man, women are just as shitty as men, straight up. They do whatever they can get away with, and it's not all women, just like it's not all men that are out here doing something out of business doing. But you know there are women are capable of good and evil. And the thing is we have to stop giving them the grace that we wouldn't give men, and you know, so yeah, man, and this is, it's not the only time I've seen stuff, man. I've got a lot of different stories. Cortez Smith said we need to start a He Too movement. Yeah, it does need to be started. It's something I suggested in the past, but I don't think people would take it serious, man. We're not at that point yet where people would take it serious. I mean, we could start and build a momentum on that, but I think it's still going to be a while before people start really taking it serious. It's going to have to take like something major, where people can't ignore it. Because even that situation with Asia Argento grooming that boy and having sex with him in a hotel when she was a part of the Me Too movement, people didn't take it serious. They kind of swept it under the rug. That's the situation that Anthony Bourdain ended up deleting himself over, you know. But yeah, Cortez says, I say in America, women are more perverted than men. That's why they dress up how they do. They want sexual attention literally 24/7. I would agree. I would agree. Um, but the whole thing with the Victorian era was because um, women were getting out of control with their sexual antics, and it was kind of a way to bring back some chastity to women. If you really look at the history behind it, that was kind of the thing because women were out of control, you know, right? And that's the whole thing with this whole idea of matriarchy. It'll be women just out, it'll be like a sexual wild west, wild, wild west, you know. And so it'll be great for some guys and it'll be terrible for others because along with that you're going to get stuff like Salem witch trials. We already have a situation like that where women, the mere accusation can ruin a man's reputation, career, so forth and so on. There was just a basketball player I learned about today. I can't think of his name, but I guess he was with the University of Illinois. He was accused of committing a sex crime against a woman, and it came out that this woman had text messages with one of her friends showing that she targeted him in order to try to get him charged and then be able to use the courts to extort money out of him. If you look at the Cassie situation, Cassie she was an accomplice in all of that stuff Diddy did. And I know this because I know people who were in the industry, and it's not hard to tell that Cassie was a madam, you know, but she weaponized what she knew and what she did with Diddy in order to grab a bag. This happens more than we as a society want to admit. And I'm not saying that, all women are making up stuff because there are a lot of women that are victimized. But then there are a lot of women that lie. And there are a lot of women who are predators. There are a lot of women who are sexual predators. You know, Terrence Shannon, that was the guy. Yeah, Terrence Shannon. I believe that was him. And he just he was just found, he just received a not guilty verdict. And you know, which good for him. Thing about it is in that situation, that woman, that predator, it'll be unlikely that she faces any um punitive time for it. You know, he's not gonna sue her because she ain't no money. That's why she's trying to steal money from him. That's why she's trying to steal money from the university. Because she was gonna sue the university because the university has the money, you know. Um, she don't have any money. And that's the thing, you know. You can't really sue most of these chicks because they don't have any money. when they talk about the transfer of wealth, the great transfer of wealth that's occurring, it's women stealing money from men. That's all it is. Cortez Smith says not only that, the media is protecting her. Of course, that's what they do. You know, even though it has been found out that she made the story up, she'll still be treated as a victim and protected as such. They'll never treat him as a victim. His reputation is ruined. This guy would be going to games and people would be calling, saying all kinds of stuff, saying no means no and calling him all kinds of names and stuff. Nothing's going to happen to her. I've been trying to find an image, but I can't. Yeah, I don't know anything about it. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams because he actually talked about it earlier today. And so, um, with that situation, along with the situation with the Tariq kid from Power, you know, um, this is you know, this is something I felt like I should talk about. Even when I've done security for um, high profile individuals, because I've done security for quite a few entertainers and sports people. Um, the stuff that women would do or would attempt to do is it would be embarrassing, man, to their fathers and their children, man. You know, which brings me to the R. Kelly case. R. Kelly caught a RICO charge, and he's the only one in the RICO conspiracy. He got convicted of a RICO charge, and he's the only one convicted. You mean to tell me he didn't have any other accomplices? Come on, man. That's yeah, man. But this is the world we're living in, man. You know, and I can rant on and on about that, but that's probably a whole nother show because there's a very good reason for it, and like I told y'all, this is this is the nation of Lilith, so it is what it is, you know. Speaking of which, and I'm going to move on actually to another topic. Let's talk about this whole thing with that Congress just passed with all males between the ages of, I guess, 18 and 27 being automatically registered for selective service for the military, for the U.S. military draft. Having done 20 years in the United States Army and knowing what it was when I got out, because is I got out 2 years ago. Well, shit. Yeah, it's almost 3 years ago. Recruiting was lousy then, and it's even worse now. It's so bad that they're asking people like myself who are retirees, they're asking us to come back, you know, um, because the recruiting efforts are so dismal. But um, no, Cortez, I haven't done the stream about the Statue of Liberty yet. I need to get on that because that is one. You're not the only person to ask about that. I need to really get on that one and get my thoughts out about it because uh, in this day and age, that's something more important. So I got to get on that. Um, I'll try to have that one next week. I do a little more research and stuff and put my notes and stuff together. But getting back to this issue with the draft, it's funny that they're automatically going to register. U.S. government going to automatically register males from the ages of 18 to 27 for the draft, but there was no mention of um, you know T-men, you know men um, who got the Johnson in the box kit. It's who got the Glizzy kit. There was no you know, and there's and there, the Republicans, which you know, conservatives, are fighting against that same legislation being passed for women. fighting real hard. You know, I'm like this. We know something is coming. You know, especially with this Ukraine situation, the ever looming threat of China invading Taiwan, several other situations going on around the world. We we got all these women fought like hell to have access to combat roles and stuff. Now all of a sudden we don't want to have women uh registered for the draft, and it's Republicans that are fighting against this. Well, I'll say this is conservatives. And although I vote Republican, although I am Team Trump, I make it no secret I don't really like conservatives. I can't stand TradCons. I don't like them because I feel like, number one, what are you conserving, clown? Number two, their stances are counterproductive to addressing modern problems. And the modern problems, one of the biggest modern problems is modern women. You know, um, they're trying to save people who don't like them. They're trying to be patriarchal against people who are actively fighting against patriarchy. My thing is let them sign up for selective service in the draft. You want patriarchy to be a thing again. You want them to shut up about defeating the patriarchy. Have them sign up for selective service in the draft. Ain't nothing like having a woman on the front line in an infantry unit, you know, getting tore up, you know, with the rigors of war. Ain't nothing like that to make other women go, oh no, I want to be barefoot and pregnant at home. You know, I want to be a housewife. You know, you want these feminists, these modern women to come to their senses. Put them on the front line. You know, all of that fantasy stuff with them being, special ops and special forces and all these movies, like the one Jennifer Lopez, old ass, is in, all of that stuff are things of fantasy. So I'm like, you know what? They want to be special ops so bad. Let's let them be special ops for real. You know, let's let them have to deal with the consequences of frontline combat for real, and not residual combat. You know, where the fight happens to come to them because you know the enemy is trying to choke off the supply lines. No, put them out there actually actively going after the shooters, actively out there, fighting those seek and destroy missions. They wanted They want combat jobs. Let's give it to them. Let's subject them to selective service in the U.S. military draft. Not being nurses and cooks. Let's make them infantry. Let's make them artillery. Let's make them tankers. Let's make them combat engineers. They wanted those jobs, so let's give them the jobs. It's either that, or they're gonna say, like I said before, oh no, I want to be barefoot and pregnant. I want to be a housewife. Well, conservatives are fighting against a strategy that would work for them. They did that with the whole um child support thing. After the Supreme Court ruled that you know um, um, child deletion being protected by the Constitution, not being protected by the Constitution, conservatives in Florida decided to have a prenatal child support bill to where a woman is pregnant, she can sue she can take a man to court for child support. He don't even know if that's his kid. They didn't put up anything about DNA. They didn't put they didn't address paternity fraud, none of that. I said, if you want to get rid of abortion, instead of expanding child support, what you do is you get rid of the child support that's only for married women. And you can only file for child support after the child has a DNA test to determine who the right person to be sued for child support is. You want to stop, you want to get rid of abortion, how you do it. You attack child support. You that way it's a backdoor way to make women. First of all, force women to get married. Number two, you don't send innocent. You don't subject innocent people to court penalties. You know, you tell them, you know, I, I just don't, I don't understand what conservatives are doing, and I think, like the evangelicals, I think trad cons have too much sway with the Republican Party. My thing with the Republican Party is that I believe in fiscal responsibility, building infrastructure, strong national defense, strong borders, stuff like that. All of that prayer in school, who who you gonna pray to? You gonna mandate Christian prayer in school? That's just as bad as drag queen story time. That's stupid. I don't want either one of them in school. But this is what the conservatives are pushing. You know, you got two big religious groups that don't believe that in Jesus as their Lord and Savior. You're going to subject them to Christian prayers? You don't want to go to Muslim prayers. You don't want to go to Jewish prayers. Why should people have to go to yours or go to school? See, TradCon's on the wrong side of too many things to me, and they don't focus on what's important. Bringing jobs back to the country, improving the infrastructure of this country, fiscal responsibility, shrinking government, making it more efficient, things like that, making it easier to start businesses. It's like they get away from that and they focus on stupid stuff. And this is my issue. This is why I support Trump, because Trump don't care about none of that stuff stupid ass conservatives care about. This is why I like Trump. This is why I think Trump is the best thing to happen. You know, all that stuff them conservatives are talking about, it's a waste of time. Yeah, man. It's this whole thing. You want to get women back in the homes, subject them to the draft. You want to get young women back in the home. You want to get young women back in skirts and being family oriented. Tell them you sign up for select service in the draft, or you forfeit your right to vote. Let's see how that goes. It's how you reduce their voting power too, because most women ain't gonna want to sign up to be. Most women that age ain't gonna want to sign up to be eligible for the U.S. draft. They'll be like, man, I'm not voting. I don't need my right to vote. You know, they don't want that. Cortez Smith says Atlas. Hey, what were you referring to with the Atlas? With the Atlas comment, Cortez. Yeah, man. So, but I think there needs to be more of a um, pragmatic a pragmatic politics movement on the right, and get away from let's get away from the stupid stuff like the evangelical stuff. Let's get away from the tradcon stuff. Um, for these the new J Lo. Yeah, that was it. Atlas. Yeah. Cortez says they're gonna be like, I ain't gotta vote. I never understood politics anyway. Facts. That's what I'm saying. You, you feel me? That's what I'm saying. And they know they got to give up some skin in the game in order to maintain that right to vote. They're gonna be like, nah, I'm good. Let me go have a few babies. You know that that would fix a lot of fertility problems. You know, you want to keep a lot of them foreign women from coming over. You want to keep a lot of them foreigners from coming over. Tell them, all right, you come over here. You got to do 6 years active duty military in order to get your citizenship. Maybe not 6 years. I would say 4. 4 years active duty military in order to get your citizenship, and we create a military service visa for those people. If you want you want to put um first time violators, not non-violent felons, you want to help them reform. Tell them, hey, we will erase this felony if you give us 6 years active duty in a combat MOS. 6 years as a warfighter. We will erase this felony and you get all the benefits you would get from military service. We'll give you this extra benefit. I think a lot of guys would go for that. A chance to erase that felony if it's a nonviolent felony. I think guys would go for that. Now dealing with them while they're in the military service, that's a whole nother animal. But you gotta bring back some of that old school military. You gotta bring back some of that old school discipline, in order to deal with them, you know. But I think there's a lot of guys that'll go for that. Cortez says, I always thought about it made sense to make non-violent offenders join the military. I know a lot of places in the South, well, I'm not going to say a lot of places, but there are quite a few places in the South back in the day. If you got in trouble and you had a non-violent charge against you, um, the judges would kind of put that out there. You can either take this time in prison, or you can take this time in the United States military and not have a criminal conviction. Because I know 2 guys that were drill sergeants back when I came in. That's how they got into the military. This was back like in the early '90s when them guys got in, and then they just ended up staying in and making a life out of it, because they found a place where they belong. It gave them the structure that they need. And they were able to get benefits and stuff, so they stayed in. You know, I know Grinch, content creator Grinch. That's kind of how he got into the Navy. You know, so I know so that means they were doing it in Georgia. I know they've done it in Florida. Back in the day, a few other places. You know, I think they need to do something like that across the country. A um, make that an option for nonviolent offenders, especially when they had all of these boot camps running around. They had all these boot camps back in the day uh, for these jails and stuff. I know where I was working, they had a boot camp. Instead of having a jail boot camp, set that stuff up with the military, make an agreement to where, you send these guys to a real boot camp. If they graduate that boot camp, they are, U.S. Uh, military members, you know, 4 years. And then when they leave, when they get out, if they choose to get out, when they get out, they leave with their benefits, and they don't have to worry about that criminal conviction. You know, that's something. It makes sense. And now everybody's not going to do it, and that's fine. Some people going to take the jail time. Some people going to take the military, and they're going to mess up in the military. It is what it is. That's why you have JAG, and you have the court martial, and stuff like that. But the thing is they get out of that civilian charge. But yeah, you know, the US military is gonna have to come up with something, because recruiting is dismal right now. Like I said, they were offering guys like me who had retired. Um, they were seeing if guys wanted to come back in. You know, uh, I'm not coming back in. I'm too busted up. Ain't nowhere in the world. Besides, there's a reason. There's a very good reason I got out. I didn't like how things were going. Why would I go, if you step in shit and you clean it off your shoe? Why would you go step back in it? How Cortez Smith says, how was it? I've always wondered what the work was like. In the military, it depends on what you're doing. Um, I keep hearing people mention it, but they're never specific. It depends on what you're doing, because you have most of the jobs in the military. I would say like 65 to 70% of the jobs in the military are not really are not frontline combat related. So you have people who are like shoot riggers. Shoot riggers don't go to combat. You have people that are mechanics. Mechanics really don't go to combat. You have cooks. Combat is not really something they do. Oh, the IT career. Okay, I'm sorry. Um, I did IT back. I was in IT back in like 92, 93, and during that time it was boring. I had to sit and basically, um, I was in like a cold room, like a cold lab, and I had to sit in front of a computer screen for 8 hours a day, and I was basically correcting code for billing, and it was monotonous. It was boring. It was cold every day. It would be summertime. I would have a hoodie on at work because it was cold, and you're sitting more or less in the same place. Looking at how the IT environment has evolved now, they have things to remedy that. Like, if you look at the things that they have on the Google campus and stuff, um, they have a lot of things kind of help, mitigate some of that boredom and the stuff that comes along with it. But still, it's a soft job. It's boring. It's you don't have to be built for. I mean, you can be built for comfort and do IT. You know, if you're smart, if you don't mind, for the most part, monotonous task. Um, you want to be comfortable in an office. IT is the way to go. If you can find remote work and work from home, IT is the way to go. You know, but if you're the type person, you like working with your hands, you like serving you like solving problems while moving and stuff. IT is not for you. If you have trouble retaining large amounts of information, IT is not for you. If you don't like monotony, IT is probably not for you. Cortez Smith says the things to help cope with boredom. LOL. We had that when I worked at a warehouse. Yeah, when I worked at a warehouse, it was like, okay, bust down them boxes, clean up all of that stuff in them pallets and stuff, you know, or go do this inventory, you know. Um, yeah, man. But yeah, they have little, you know, like at the Google place, they have serenity areas, workout rooms, they have stand up workstations. They have like if you're sitting down, they have the little, you know, bipedal thing for your feet, so it's like you're walking or riding a bike, you know, different things like that. I Those are some of the things that I've seen, you know. So, but you know, that's the problem with a lot of the jobs nowadays. Like even with police work, a big problem with police work is that a lot of you're sitting in the car 6 to 10 hours a day. If you're not sitting in the car, you're sitting at a desk. And one thing police officers like to do is eat. And because a lot of them do spend so much time at work, they want to eat with, you know, they want to eat with the guys, with the people that they work with, because that becomes like an extension of family for them. And it really sucks if you don't eat what everybody else eats. You know, I used to work with a bunch of white guys, and white guys, you know, for some reason, a lot of them like processed food, and they eat a lot of Italian food. You know, and that they eat a lot of stuff that winds up making you fat, especially because you're sitting around, and most of your job is sitting. It's like being a truck driver, damn near. You know, uh And so, you know, you wind up gaining weight, especially if you eating stuff you ain't got no business doing, and you don't have a workout plan outside of work, you wind up getting fat. That's why you see a lot of them fat older cops, you know, and then plus you're dealing with a lot of stress. The stress is really not from the public, you know, in most places. The stress is actually the people you work for, with bosses and stuff, to get the fuck on your nerves. You know, it is what it is. You know, they they can't impose quotas on you, but you have to show something for every hour that you've been on the job. So, you know, be it a report, you know, everything you do, a ticket is a report. Everything you do is a report. And so you're just sitting up writing stuff all day because you got to show something for every hour, you know. So, but you know, you're dealing with the stress and headache of this clown because there are times where it's dead outside, nothing's happening, you know, or you know, you like people like me. I didn't see the sense in pulling over some old woman, you know, driving with her dog in the car, you know, she made a hit the wrong signal. Some I'm not stopping that. I'm not stopping somebody with their kids. I'm not stopping some dude that just got off work 1 o'clock. He dog tired because he done worked 16 hours. You know, he trying to get home. He trying to stay woke and stuff. I'm not. I'm not the type to want to be harassing that guy. I wanted to catch real criminals. You know, but you wind up because of how the work is structured. You wind up fucking with people that you don't need to fuck with. You know, because you got to show something for every hour. Cortez says that's the best explanation I've heard of. I've heard out of all the IT guys I listened to. LOL. Cortez Smith says the warehouse work was monotonous too. Yeah. Your warehouses get boring, man. They, you know, and that's why you had guys, you know, they come up with stupid warehouse games and stuff. Where you know, you have some guy he's miserable at home. He comes to work and he's bored. And so he'll start fucking with people he think is easy targets. Next thing you know, you got some dude harassing you. And since it's not sexual harassment, they're less apt to do something about it, especially if he's in charge of something. I've seen that before. Cortez Smith said, we had these tasks where we literally had to stand there and move objects from one conveyor belt to another. Sometimes we did for hours. Yeah. Imagine 12 hours of doing this. LOL. Yeah, man. like with the army. I was a combat engineer. We had a lot of equipment that we had to work that we had as part of combat engineers. Even though I was in light units most of the time before I went to brigade, I was in light units. That being said, light units, um, I was in a sapper unit, and sapper units are light. Even though you're light, you have um your pioneer kits, which are it's basically all your hand tools. So you had to inventory that. Then you had your weaponry. You had to inventory that. You had to perform maintenance and stuff on that. Then we had a heavy equipment section, where you had to, because we did mobility and counter mobility. So you had dozers and backhoes and stuff like that. You had to inventory that stuff. You had to do maintenance of that stuff. It gets monotonous. It gets monotonous, especially if you don't have a mission. If you're not in the field, and even when you're in the field, when you got downtime, you still got to keep track of all of this stuff. Imagine, at least, but you're outdoors. You're out in the sun, you're outdoors and stuff. If the weather's good, you're getting that sun. You're getting vitamin D. If you're indoors, it sucks, especially during the winter months. From like November to February, we were indoors. February, cold or not, we was out in the field. Man, I don't know what was worse, but it was fun though. So Cortez Smith says, imagine 12 hours of doing this. Yeah, yeah, bro. Cortez says, I plan on getting my CDL, but I wanted to be able, I wanted to be able, I wanted to be able to be overseas for longer periods. Like, why don't you, if you get your CDL and get some endorsements, go be a contractor and drive overseas for the DOD of some of these contractor companies. You guys are making a grip. Back in 2003, um, one of the uh, one of the truck drivers that moved our equipment in from the boats, he had been over in Kuwait for he had been over there since like 1992, and he told me at that time, this was back in 2003, that there was not a year. There was only 1 year. He said there was only 1 year he didn't make $100,000, and that was the first year he got there. He said every year after that he made over $100,000, well over $100,000. He would go home every 3 months, buy property, take a vacation, go buy property, and come back. He loved it. He didn't even have prior military service. He was just a dude with a CDL that had no problem with going over there and driving over there in Kuwait. And that's how he made his money. So you could do that, you know? And speaking of CDLs, man, we have this thing where you got you got black women, um, these ones that are paying back all of this money and begging Biden for student loan forgiveness. They're uh they're clowning guys with CDLs. Like, a CDL is a quick way to making six figures without having to pay back a ridiculous amount of student loans. Yeah, he may have to work overtime, but money is money. Your time is money. I wouldn't want to be on salary. I want to make overtime. But if I'm working, I want to make money. And a CDL, everything you need comes on trucks at some point. I don't understand why they reclining. Meanwhile, they got these stupid degrees in gender studies and you know, African American studies and shit that they can't do shit but working in university. They got these degrees for, and they're clowning guys with CDLs. Cortez Smith says, I'm gonna have to look into it. I've heard of this before. Yeah. I met a guy, man. Like I said, Cortez Smith says, ironically, BWs are getting CDLs done. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're getting CDLs now. There's nothing wrong with having a CDL. Look, if you can make an honest living and you can make the kind of money you want to make, I'm all for it. I'll never money shame somebody that's making money on an honest living. And I never understood that. I told y'all a few months back on one of my morning streams, I know guys, all the tradesmen I know that are millionaires are plumbers. I know like I know I want to say like 13 plumbers. Everybody's a millionaire that's a plumber. I had a boss when I worked in the jail who was a plumber on his off time. He was a millionaire because of it. Plumbers make a killing. Cortez says, yeah, that was another good thing about the warehouse. We weren't on salary and we got overtime, all overtime we wanted, double overtime several times a year. Yeah, yeah. Cortez Smith says, but I guess it's cool when she do it, but it's a problem when we do it, according to Keisha. Exactly, man. Listen, you know, all that is just the way, number one, to, it's basically poking at black men, and it's a way to move the goalposts. If you get money honestly, that's the end of the conversation. That's the end of the conversation. If you get money the legal way, that's it. That's it's all good. That's if you get money legally, it's good money, you know. But they, these, and this is the guys that they desire. These are guys that, they wear suits every day, a suit and tie. They smell they wear some cologne, and they come do a few PowerPoint meetings, and delegate some stuff to secretaries and some lower management, and then they come home. They think that's the idea of man. What they don't realize is a lot of them guys, first of all, they don't know how to do shit but be in an office. Um, then they don't understand. It's like they don't pay attention to the shit that they do at the office. You know, it's like, you know, eh, not to say corporate skills aren't useful, because they are. You need to understand how to manage and delegate authority and different things like that. I get it. But that a lot of that stuff is only good at the office. A lot of that stuff is not good in the household. It's useless in the household. You know, Cortez Smith says, and a lot of us made more money than Keisha's in HR. Facts. I didn't understand the purpose of working in HR besides the status thing, because it's an air conditioned office where she can sit in a soft chair. That's all. And wear some cute clothes. They ain't doing nothing but pleasing themselves, because they get to wear some cute clothes and perfume. They don't have to sweat a lot, and they can do some busy work. Cortez Smith said they clown plumbers, but still don't clown drug dealers. Facts. Facts. Cortez Smith says, and they don't make that much money on average. Television got women thinking every dude with a briefcase makes six figures. Exactly. That's the joke. I know guys in construction. Like I said, I know guys in the trades. I know guys that do stuff where they work outside. They making a killing, and even And you don't, in most parts of the country, you really don't need six figures. Six figures is always great to have, but in some places, six figures is not enough. And in some places, you don't need six figures, you know? And what good is six figures to a woman if she's not with the man that's making the six figures? These bitches are always talking about, I need a man, I need a man. Shut up. You know, what they want is submissive providers. That's what they want. they, they want submissive providers. You know, six figures so they can spend all his money. This is why I tell guys that 50-50 thing, and it's not 50-50. It's 100, it's 100. All her money, she aside being able to keep, maybe $100, $200 here and there, you know, 90% of her money should go to the house. 90% of her money ain't no, she got her own account and she don't have to touch her money. Bullshit. Not with these modern women. They don't, modern women don't deserve anything more than 50-50. 50-50 is a grace. They need to pay in. You want to be a modern woman, you want to work, you want to have all of these, you want to be able to do all this stuff and get these careers. Guess what? All your money come to the house. All your money come to the pot. You know, everything you make is gonna be to run this household. You're not gonna sit up and blow your money on weave and fingernails. Your money gonna support this house and these kids. You know, Cortez Smith said, I think women came up with requirements to troll black men. Their exes and none of these things. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's basically it's to go na 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 boo boo at the guys that they don't like. It's just like the passport thing. Most black guys in passport bros. Most black guys that be talking that passport bro shit, they just doing that to thumb their nose at black women. And just like the whole, um uh the soft guy thing. Most of them guys, uh, if a woman is nice to him and she give him some coochie at least 3 times a week, he gonna put up with all the rest of her stupid shit. That's the truth. That's what it is. Black marriage and relationships ain't hard. It- what we have right now is people trolling each other. None of that shit is hard. Be nice to that dude. Look decent when he take you out. Give him some coochie 3 times a week. That motherfucker will love you forever. If you're a woman, if you're a guy, um, give her a compliment. Give her one compliment a day. Pay the bills, and you know, give her a little attention and tell her to shut up when she needs to shut up. She cool. Most women, all that shit they talking, they just trolling. They just trolling. If you have a little backbone with them and you handle your business, most of them ain't. They not gonna push against that. These young modern women, they want to be by themselves anyway. They just want to be able to ride the carousel. That's all. They don't want to be shamed for chasing penises all across the country. That's all they want to do is they want to date. They want to extend their junior year of college out as far as possible. That, now that they, especially now that they got a little money, they can get the little funky hair done and get some fingernails. That's all they want to do. They want to extend that junior year of college out for as long as they can. That's all it is. Cortez says they get a kick out of men not getting him. Yeah. you know. But then they get real crazy when them men go get Becky, when them men go get, Juanita, when them men go get Mylene, then they be looking salty. It's like you did it to yourself. You did it to yourself. You know. Cortez says, it's troll wars. Yeah, that's all it is. Says wild seeing dudes online pull their hair out thinking that women are serious. Yeah, well, you know what? You got a lot of frustrated guys online. Number one, because they're not. It's not that a lot of these guys can't get women. It's not that at all. A lot of these guys can get women. There's a woman I guarantee somewhere in their recent past that liked him. She wasn't his preference. He's got an idea of a woman that he wants, and he wants that woman to act right. He wants that woman to move the way he wants her to move. That's all it is. It's the same with these women. They want they have a fantasy. They have a Ken doll in their mind that they want to go that way. I always say there's nothing wrong with having preferences. The issue is that whether your preference wants you or not. This is why I don't believe in incels. Listen, you can get you can get some coochie quicker than you can borrow some money from a chick. Trust me. Incels have a idea. They have a idea. They have a certain woman in their mind that they want. They can't get that particular woman or that type of woman. That's what frustrates them. Because if John Wayne Gacy, who was eating people, had women writing him letters, professing their love to him, anybody can find any man can find a woman if he really wants one. He probably has already found it. He probably it just wasn't the woman he wanted, wasn't the relationship he wanted. And these women, the same thing. Listen, all these chicks that be talking all of that stuff, there's a guy that loves their funky draws somewhere, but he wasn't what they wanted. That's all it is. Cortez says they want to change Keisha into Ashley. Yes, that's what that is. They a lot of it, and it's not all of it, but a lot of it is a lot of these guys want to turn Keisha into Ashley. They want to make Keisha Claire Huxtable. Um, and they want her to be barefoot and pregnant and cook them some fried chicken and collard greens and suck them off before they go to bed. And you know, Keisha don't want to do that. Keisha want to chase, dudes in the club, and she want to suck off dudes in the parking lot or the nightclub. And but if they make women have to sign up for the draft, I think the women gonna find a way to get in the kitchen and make fried chicken and have a bunch of kids and suck them off before they go to bed. That's what's gonna happen. Kuda says, Cortez says, like Kuda said, most of these chicks will give head before they bake a pie for you. Facts. Facts. Acting like cooking is so hard. Listen, man, most meals you can listen. First of all, they act like cooking is so hard. Cooking is one of the easiest things you can do. All it requires is some attention and some know-how or some recipes. You can cook most meals in under 45 minutes. It's 45 minutes out of a whole day. Most of these women that do stay home and cook, they send that dude to work with leftovers. Most of these guys who have women that cook, most of them guys are eating leftovers. She packed him some leftovers, and that's what he take to work. And he cool with that. He come home, he got a new meal. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But they act like baking a pie is hard. You know how easy it is to bake a pie? Eh, You know, the thing is, they act like cooking is so hard. You know, if you could get a guy making 60, 70, $100,000 a year, and all you have to do is cook for him a total of an hour and a half a day. That's to make breakfast, that's to make dinner. And to keep a clean house, which, keeping a clean house ain't hard, you know. He gonna do all of the really hard stuff like cleaning the gutters and and cutting the grass and stuff like that. If y'all live in apartments, you don't have to worry about that. You know, being a housewife ain't hard. The hardest thing about being a housewife is helping kids with the homework. Especially if you a stupid woman, then you're not gonna be able to help the kids with the homework because you stupid. But being a housewife is not hard. It's not, you know. Cortez Smith said, I can even be a chef thanks to YouTube. Man, listen, man. Shout out to my wife, man. My wife makes on special occasions like yesterday. My wife made for Father's Day, she made me a prime rib. I love prime rib. My wife learned how to make prime rib on YouTube. Her prime rib is so good, I don't order it at restaurants no more. And I used to pay big money for prime rib. I would pay $35, $45 for prime rib at restaurants for just me. My wife learned how to make prime rib on YouTube that is so good, I don't buy it in restaurants anymore because my wife's prime rib is just that good, man. It's just that good. My wife's prime rib is ridiculously good. Best prime rib I've ever had. And I've eaten a lot of prime rib in my life. I love prime rib. My wife makes the best prime rib I've ever had. Ever. I'll put a prime rib up against anybody's prime rib. Any fancy restaurant. My wife's prime rib is better. And she learned off YouTube. You can learn how to cook anything off YouTube. I learned how to shoot bowl, compound bowls off watching YouTube videos. When I went and got my bow tune and was testing it out and I was shooting targets at the place I got it tuned at, the guy was like, who taught you how to shoot? You shoot great. I said, YouTube. He could not believe I learned how to shoot bows on YouTube. He couldn't believe it. You can learn anything. The way the world is now, you can learn anything you need to learn. If you don't know how to clean, they've got cleaning channels. Not just YouTube, TikTok. Where you got people that are expert cleaners. If you don't know how to clean, because believe it or not, there are people that don't know how to clean. You can learn how to clean on these different channels. Anything you need to learn how to do, you can learn how to do on YouTube. I've learned how to back in the day. I learned how to fix different stuff on my cars from watching YouTube videos. Cortez says they said they wouldn't stay home to cook and clean, but they work and make sandwiches for $8 an hour and eight for 8 hours a day. Slow, retarded. Cortez says this is why I think feminism should be classified as a mental illness. It literally defies basic logic. Yes, it does. Cortez says there's a Dominican woman in this space that shows us how to cook stuff that's not on YouTube. Yeah, YouTube is one of the best inventions. Listen, man, if you speaking of Dominicans, there are a lot of people that want to learn how to cook different foods from the Caribbean. Anything from jerk chicken to like sancocho, different stuff like that. You can learn to cook that stuff from YouTube. You can learn to cook that stuff on YouTube. Damn near anything you want to learn, you can learn it on YouTube. Getting back to these goofy ass modern women. But yeah, they will they want to go to these places, get these fancy titles that work the shit at these corporations that work the shit out of them, take all their time, um, and make other people's families rich and stuff, to where those other people who are primarily men can have stay-at-home wives who are educating their children and passing on lessons and different things like that, and taking care of their families. Meanwhile, Tasha, who is you know, the 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 middle manager or CEO of some nonsense, some fancy title that don't really pay money. She didn't. She got the dumbest kids in America. Because she don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. And even the funny thing about it is, like when I went to college, I went to I went to school with all races of people. When I went to college, there were people that were going to get biology degrees so they can go to medical school and stuff. You have Indian and Chinese women who have advanced professional degrees and careers, who still go home and take care of their families. But somehow Keisha and Tamika can't do that. It don't make sense. Even you even have these white women, um, these Karens and Annas, um, they would get these fancy positions and stuff and still go home and take care of their families. Still go home and respect their husbands, you know? And everybody has problems. Everybody has problems. Every marriage is going to have his triumphs and his challenges. But um but why would you let a job come in between, a career or a degree come in between you having a family, especially if that's what you want? Now, if you don't want that, that's one thing. But if you want a family, that's what you want. Listen, I know a guy. I had a boss at the jail. He made good money as a boss at that time. He was probably making like 90,000 a year. His wife made 225,000 a year at a bank. She still respected him, still took care of his kids, all of that. You know, they had a family dynamic that worked, even though she made more money. How come black Americans can't do that? Cortez says, YouTube is one of the best inventions. He says you probably seen her around. Her name is Lucy. I know I haven't seen her. Lucy, that name doesn't sound familiar. Cortez says exactly. Keisha literally has the least education, but can't take care of their men. Cortez says UAB is a hub of foreigners like that. I see them all the time. They never have problems doing it. I, Listen, man, why do you think these Mexicans and other Central Americans, they come to the United States? Um, in my neighborhood, a lot of people have lawn care services. I'm at home because I'm retired, so I do my own lawn. But we have these people. Um, the 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 guy is cutting the he's you know cutting bushes and stuff while the woman is driving the tractor. Husband and wife team, lawn care companies, Asian restaurants. You see the whole family husband, wife, some of the kids, uncles, you know, they're all working in that kitchen. You know, you see stuff like that. It's black people talking this stay at home, the battle of the stay at home life and the soft life battle. They're having this, they all want this rich, these these rich white guys with a lot of this money. What do their women go out and do? They go out and start some business or go get a real estate license and do that because they want to bring in some money too for whatever reason. Mexicans, Cortez says, I see Mexicans do that. They do it all the time. All the time. Jamaicans, they do it all the time. I got a few Jamaicans and Haitians where I live. Restaurants. They work, they work the restaurant. The husband and wife work the restaurant. The wife, when she ain't working her nursing job, she's at the restaurant, working a restaurant. You know, the only people that have this problem are black Americans. And it's the young ones. I can't even say it's the young ones because this shit started. It is really started like I would say 70s and 80s. But everybody's got Black America's got this crazy shit. And I can say this, even though I'm part Tether, I'm part ADOS FBA as well. And I lived in both worlds. And I tell you, you know, it's an ADOS FBA problem. Cortez Smith said, I work out in Mount Brook, the wealthiest part of Alabama, and these women I work. Man, everybody is putting something in the pot. Everybody is putting something in the pot. Even a lot of these stay home, these country boys that they talk that trad con shit. But when you really look behind the curtains, if they have like ranches and stuff, them women are shoeing horses, milking cows, shaving sheep, all of that stuff. Don't It's like the black American is fooled by Hallmark Tyler Perry shit. They look at shit and they see these little clips from these fucking movies. The worst thing that happened was these Tyler Perry movies and these black holiday movies and shit because it's like nigga porn. They have really fucked up a lot of they fucked up a lot of people. Even with A Different World and the Cosby Show, you had Cliff and Claire Huxtable both worked. They didn't have housekeepers and stuff. I don't know where they get this crazy stuff from, man. Honestly. Now on the other side, this stuff where guys are like, well, the woman is supposed to do housework and all. Listen, this is how I know you dealing with a guy that ain't done shit. He ain't been in the military, number one. Um, this is basically a lazy nigga trying to get over because in the military, if you live in the barracks, everybody cleans. You clean your room, you clean the barracks, inside and out. Everybody is responsible for that stuff. Ain't no, only this, they're supposed to do this. There's a delegation of authority, but everybody has a hand in cleaning that stuff. If you got to live there, why not clean it? I like having a clean house. I like having a clean house. I got a great house. I got great houses. I like my stuff looking nice. Right now, I'm rehabilitating the lawn so it can look nice. When I was living in Illinois, my house, my lawn was the envy of the neighborhood because my grass was so nice. I did it all myself. I took care of the outside of the house and all of the problems on the inside. If there's a plumbing problem, I didn't call nobody. I did it. If there's an electrical problem, I didn't call anybody. I did it. And if there's some dishes, if I make a dish, I wash it. That's just being responsible. Only the women are supposed to cook and clean. Listen, there's certain stuff that when my kids was growing up, my kids would be like, "Hey, Dad, can you cook for us?" Because they love the way I cook. I'm a great cook because I like food. There's certain I cook a lot of Caribbean-based food. My kids love that stuff. They'd be like, "Hey, Dad, can you make such and such?" Now my wife has learned how to cook stuff like that too. But my kids liked it when I made certain stuff. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Your chefs, most of your best chefs, most of your chefs, and definitely your best chefs in the world are who? Men. You know, this whole idea of certain jobs are for certain people is stupid. My wife grew up on a farm where they had to fix all of the farm equipment. My wife knows far more about mechanical stuff than I do because she was around it her whole life. There's nothing wrong with that. It's like people are not dealing with reality, you know, and it's like in order to run things um, in your house, yeah, okay, the husband is if you're in a Christian marriage, the hierarchy is laid out according to your Christian beliefs. Okay, cool, fine. But the reality is that in some areas, some people are going to have to take the lead in certain areas than others. That's just what it is. I get when the women say that. I understand it because it's like if she is better with counting than you, because you can't count, let her count and balance the books. If you better than you do it, you know. It's like this stupid TradCon shit is just as bad as the stupid Hallmark bullshit with the women in Tyler Perry shit. Um Cortez Smith said, I hate all those modern blackity black BT movies and shows. They're annoying. Yeah, they're annoying and it's nigga porn. Cortez Smith says that's what happens when people don't think for themselves. They don't understand this nuance. Exactly, it's nuance, and that's exactly what it is. It's like, man, certain stuff, you know, these people going to have to take the lead better than others, you know. And it's like, like for me, I tell people, man, with the whole marriage thing, you have to do what works for your family. You guys have to find out. You have to find out what your talents are and do the things that work with your talents. Find out areas that you guys can work together. Find out your strengths and weaknesses and make that stuff work. You know, there's nothing's going to ever be happily ever after, but it's going to be um, a constant act of refinement for different things. You know, I mean, certain stuff. You know, yeah, you want to work out before you get married, and certain stuff you're gonna have to work out during the marriage. Like the whole thing with sex. No man wants to be bait. No man wants to be subject to bait and switch. And this is a problem with a lot of women. Where before they get married, every day they knocking it out the park. She's sucking them off in the parking lot, all kinds of crazy stuff, all kinds of wild sex, and then she get married, and then she starts rationing the pee and withholding and stuff, and that's like that's a part of your marriage though. When you do stuff like that, you're cheating on your husband. You're cheating on your husband. A lot of women don't see it that way, but it is. It's cheating. Once you got him, now you figure like you don't have to do anything. You cheated that man into a marriage. You know, on the other side, you got men that, they heroic and romantic and all of this stuff, and then y'all get married and you cut all that off, and now all you want to do is sit in front of the couch. And you get home from work, all you do, you go to work, you come home, you spend your next hours waking with your hand in your pants after you eat, your hand in your pants, sitting in front of the TV with a beer. When before you was taking out on dates and walks in the park, different stuff doing and stuff like that. You cheated her, and you convinced her that she was going to get more of this stuff, and now you stopped. That's fucked up. A lot of people don't consider stuff like that cheating, but it is cheating. You tricked that person into a relationship. That's just as bad as, you know, stepping out, you know? And it's like, man, you have to find out what works. No, you can't. Realistically, most people are not going to be able to go out 2 and 3 times a week for years and years, eating at restaurants and stuff. That's not realistic. You know, life happens, you know, but still, you know, you should try to find some time to get out, even if it's to go get a cheeseburger or something. Go out. It's good to get out the house sometime, you know. A lot of women, like I said before, they talked about the sex ration. Listen, if you know you don't want, you know, um, Tamika from down the block or some chick at work sucking your dude off, you better do it. Suck that dude off and be done with it. If he like to do other stuff, you better find out what he do. If you know that's what he's been liking, then guess what? That's your job. You want to keep him at home, you know, then that's what you do. Because dudes that are getting what they like at home are less likely to go and tip out. Listen, most sex ain't going past the actual act ain't going past 20 minutes anyway. Listen, you give some motherfucker 8 hours a day of all your effort, your brain power, and all of this other focus, concentration, best behavior and all this stuff. You can't give your husband 20 minutes. Then don't trip on it. If you can't do that, you feel like you can't do that. Don't trip on him when he dip off and don't tell you. If you give him that 20 minutes, it's too much. Don't ask him where he going or who he talking to. If you can't, if you can't tell your girl, she look nice. Try to, give her a few compliments in there, because all of it don't take but number. Hey, baby, you look good. Like, man, that ass looking good. You know, if you don't tell her, some dude in her DMs gonna tell her. Especially if she got social media. Some motherfucker at work gonna be telling her. You want to keep her attention? Tell her, hey, baby, you're looking real good today. But tell her, hey, I appreciate when you did stuff like this. Tell them. Cortez says, I think this happens when people don't think, oh, okay, we get that one. Says that's like scamming someone. Yeah, it is like scamming someone. Yeah, you get caught up in the routines and rigmarole of life. I get it. That's understandable, you know. And sometimes people have to be reminded. I get it, but you can't let it get too far. You can't let it get too far. You let it get too far, that's when you start having problems, you know? That's when you start having problems. If you know your girl, like my wife like to go out and dance. I take her out dancing every so often. She like to dance. That make her happy. I'm cool with it. I don't like to dance that much because I got fucking 14 pins in my feet, so I don't dance like these days. But Get her together with one of her girlfriends, take them out dancing, give them some drinks, let them dance, let them shake it up at the bar, bring them back home. And she's happy. You know, like I said, my wife ate prime rib for me. I was happy. It was like the best thing ever. She made me a prime rib. I had ate my prime rib, drank my whiskey, and I was happy. I can't eat prime rib every day. It ain't good for you. But shit, a little prime rib every so often, man, it makes me happy. And I think that's the thing. People have to find happiness in the little things. And I think people have forgotten that. Everybody needs to be, everybody's getting to this point to where they either need total submission or exuberance amounts of resources to feel happy. Um, and it's like you don't, but I think that's because so many people are dead inside now. And it's like they've forgotten to take pleasure in the little things. I'm gonna tell y'all one of the things that makes you wouldn't believe how happy I get when I see babies laugh. I love to see babies laugh. I love it when a baby is happy. To me, that is like one of the best things in the world. And it don't take much to make babies laugh. I think we've gotten so overstimulated with all of the we have access to more things now than we've ever had, than humans have ever had in the history of humankind. And I think we've gotten overstimulated and become jaded and burned ourselves out. And it's like we have to get back to the little things that make life enjoyable. Cortez Smith said, I heard the steakhouse people mostly go to ain't that good anyway. You know what, man? I'm gonna tell you something, Cortez. Like me and my wife used to go out twice a month to mid to high level restaurants back in the day. And um I started noticing, I was like, man, these steaks are not as good as the steaks I cook at home, you know? And so it was like, man, other than dressing up, the food ain't that good. Like my wife's like likes to get dressed up, and I'm cool with that. She want to get dressed up, what's fancy clothes to smell good. Cool. I like that. But like the restaurants themselves, the food is just all right. Most of the stuff that they have in the restaurants, either I or my wife can make it, and it's like we can do it for cheaper. Other than maybe having somebody serve you, difference. Other than the restaurant experiences, like the food ain't, you know, it- I haven't had food in a lot of places to where it's like, oh, it's outstanding. You got to go there. The last place I went to, I got a couple of restaurants here in Florida that I like. Like I like the Chart House. Great steaks. Absolutely great steaks. Great ambiance. You get a chance to see all of the yachts and stuff. It's cool. But most of the steak joints here, like I went to RPM, I wasn't impressed. I was like, I make a better steak than this, you know? So yeah. A lot of the steak joints ain't that good. Root Chris. Everybody talk about Root Chris. Root Chris, in my opinion, is garbage. Dude is garbage. You know, it's trash. You know, Cortez Smith definitely overstimulated. Yeah, people are overstimulated now, man, and they become jaded. You know, Cortez Smith says that's why people have short attention span. Yeah, because it's too much. People were being bombarded with too much. It used to be a time like little games like uh playing jacks and stuff would keep people entertained for hours. Now we got stuff like TikTok where you in YouTube Shorts, you're constantly being bombarded with different stuff. And I think we have to watch out for that, man. And it's like we got kids that are growing up with that, and their attention spans are all goofy now, man. And it's like the technology is moving faster than people's attention spans, and I think people are forgetting the little things. You that whole thing with these women wanting these 400 $300 and $400 dates, and it's like, what happened to going somewhere and getting to know the person you're with? If you're a first date don't get 200 $300 dates. You done lost your mind. You don't get that. You ain't done nothing to deserve that because you came out looking nice. Bitch, you look nice for your boss at work. Nobody trying to hear that, you know. But they think everybody a drug dealer, the biggest simps in America, you know, wasting money. What happened to just getting to know people? I'm not saying, oh, first date should be a coffee date and stuff. Look, if she go for it, fine. If not, I mean, take her go get some tacos or something. you know, go get a little sandwich or something. But no, a woman you just met and you just convinced on the first date, she don't get no because she want to be impressed. You know what? Leave that bitch at home. The minute they start suggesting that, hang up. I'm telling you, if you guys listening to me right now, listen, hang up because there are more women out there. Trust me. There are more women out there, a whole lot more, and it's always these chicks that don't look that good. A lot of them be GMO. They don't look that good. Talking about, they want to have experiences. Bitch, you work, you experience that shit yourself. Take me on an experience. How about that? You know, nobody trying to hear that. Dates like that are for wives. I'll take my wife out. We'll spend $300 on a date because that's my wife. She does so much. She does a lot to deserve that. Some chick I just met, bullshit. You swipe left on you. You know, I don't understand the gall that these bitches. The problem is that you have guys out there that'll go for it. When guys shut that shit down, be like, no, that shit ain't happening. They'll stop. They'll stop. You start telling these chicks when you really start telling about themselves, eventually they'll start hearing. you know. But it's always some dude, some old mealy mouth Melvin, you know. Ugh. That dude, they'll get him. There's a sucker born every minute, and they looking for the sucker. The minute a woman starts talking like this, she trying to scam you, dog. People in the audience that are here, that bitch is trying to scam you. You don't even waste your time. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. A first date, a second date ain't worth that. If you didn't put in no work, you you don't see this as somebody that you can build something with at least for a little while. No, push on. Don't even waste your time. Don't let her waste your time. Don't let her waste your money. Straight up. Cortez Smith says, and plus they want to do to entertain him like he's convenient. Right. And most of these bitches ain't. That's because they're not funny. They don't have social skills. They're not entertaining people. They're feeders. They don't know how to engage. All they know how to do is gimme, gimme, gimme. You know, Cortez Smith says, I noticed that too. A lot of them are twos and threes. They got the highest standards, twos and threes. You know, twos and threes. Chicks with kids. You know, chicks with kids. All these standards. Talking about what they ain't gonna do, what they ain't gonna accept. Leave them alone with their kids. Like, all right, cool. Stop trying to convince them. Stop trying to beg and plead with them. Stop trying to shame them. Life will do all of that. Because these same chicks that be getting on these social media platforms crying that ain't nobody talking to them. Let God, let the universe kick her in her ass. You know, when they talk like that, they're telling you they really want to be alone. Cool. Listen, man, I run into attractive women all the time that they don't want that stuff. They that stuff is only for people they don't like. For the guys they don't like, they ain't got to do that. For the guys they like, for the guys that that um got a little motion about them, they ain't got to do all of that. That's for guys they don't like. When a chick start talking to you like that, she trying to scam you, dog. She's trying to get over on you. And I know because I've had women get over on me. Before I met my wife, I had women get over on me, you know? And then I had women that they didn't require much. They wanted to be around me, you know? Yeah, I've been married a long time, but before I was married, I had a lot of women. A lot. I'm not gonna tell y'all how many because you ain't gonna believe it. But there are other people that know me that on YouTube that knew me back before I met my wife, and they'll tell you I kind of know what I'm talking about, But like I said, man, chicks with them crazy requirements, they don't want you anyway. That's basically they're putting up a wall to ward off people they don't want to be bothered with. Now, I get that part. I get it. And thing about it is, um, if you present yourself as a victim, they'll get you. And conversely, for these guys that you know, talking about the stuff they want from a woman, a lot of them guys will they just talking. You be nice to them. You do little stuff I said. If you're a woman and you nice to these guys, listen. If you are a nice woman, you keep yourself looking decent, and you get this guy sex 3 times a week, you don't have to cook. Believe me, you don't have to cook. You tell him, listen, I can do this other stuff, but I don't know how to cook because I'm a career woman. I know how to go to work. And that guy likes you, he gonna be like, oh, it's okay, baby. It's okay, baby. I've seen it too many times. I've seen it too many times. If you nice to him, you give him some sex, suck him off a few times a week. Don't be disrespectful. He gonna defer to you for all of this shit in the house. Baby, what you think about this? You think this is a good idea? Yeah. Them dudes are easy. Them dudes are easy. Especially if he's a black guy. Black guys are the easiest guys to be with in the world. Especially now because these ain't the black guys from the 70s that went to the store, get a pack of cigarettes and never came back. This ain't them guys. You know, this ain't them guys from the 50s that had, uh, 3 or 4 families in 3 or 4 states. Well, yeah, you still got some of that, but these guys will let you know, yeah, I got a baby mama over here because she taxing them for child support, you know. But a lot of these guys talking all this, she gotta be submissive and so this same dude, if you are nice to him, you give a little sass, but you're not disrespectful to him, black guys will take that shit. Trust me. Yeah, I like a sassy sister. The more niggas say that goofy shit. If there are black women listening to this stream, don't believe them niggas when they say that. Oh, she gotta be 100% complete submissive. Listen, don't be disrespectful. Be nice to them. Suck them off, a few times a week. And look good. He gonna ignore a lot of shit. Especially if his friends be like, man, dog, your woman look good. Oh, now if he a dude that used to having fine women that are like that, you gonna have some problems. You gotta do a little more. You gotta do a little more. You gotta take some cooking classes or something. You got but most of these guys ain't, you know, most of these guys ain't that guy. You be nice to him, give him some sex a few times a week. Don't be disrespectful. He gonna kiss your feet. He gonna be my queen. He gonna be that guy, my queen. He gonna say all that unnecessary shit. He gonna be that dude. Cause that's what they do. I know niggas. Cortez says, nice women don't have issues getting men. That's because they're not picky and don't hate men. Look, listen. If you're nice, if you're a woman and you're nice, you can be picky. I know nice women who are picky. Where, if they reject you, they're nice about it. You know? And if you don't hate men, even when you let those guys down, you're nice, but they're okay. Most guys don't want to be in trouble or have their reputations ruined. You tell them you ain't going, then if you tell them no, no, thank you. Most guys are gonna leave you alone. But if you're nice, if women, if you are nice, you can get men to do a whole lot of shit for you. That you get them to do a whole lot of maybe volunteering shit. Oh, I'll get that for you, Miss Lady. And it's white guys too. White guys do that too. Be nice. I used to work with a woman that y'all would call, in this day and age, she would be called a swirl. She's married to a white guy. This woman was nice to everybody. This sweet woman. She was awesome. Everybody loved this woman. You know why everybody loved that woman? Because she was nice. She wasn't on that I can't stand black men shit. She was with who she was with, and that's what it was. But she was sweet to everybody. Everybody took care of stuff this woman needed to have taken care of. This was a lady. She was a lady. She came to work looking nice, smelling good. Um, she wore her natural hair, didn't wear a lot of makeup. She was just pleasant to be around. She could put a smile on everybody. She was just nice. Just nice. Everybody I worked with, well, all the guys loved this woman. White, black, Hispanic, everybody loved this woman. She was awesome to everybody. If you mention her name to this very day, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, man, she was man. That woman was a nice woman, and she was beautiful too." That's what they gonna say about her. Cortez Smith said, "Yep, I mean, overly picky, like the ones Kendrick G. Yeah, yeah, them, you know what, them some bitches that know they ain't in the running anyway. You know, they, what it is, they're trying to head off the rejection. That's all that is. They know that they they know whatever they want is a shot in the dark anyway, and that they come with problems and issues, and ain't nobody really gonna be dealing with. And so they want to come up there, and they all they did. You remember Rabbit? You remember 8 Mile? Eminem, the Eminem movie 8 Mile, when he was talking about, yeah, and I come from this side of town, and yeah, I'm white and so, you know, but you know, your name is Clarence, and you come from, you come from a house with two parents, and they have a real good marriage. They're doing the dating version of Rabbit from 8 Mile. That's all they doing, man. You Cort, Cortez, exactly. It's basically Cortez Smith says it's basically you can't fire me because I quit thing. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's all it is, man. That's exactly that's what it is. You know, I ain't want you anyway. You ugly. I ain't want you anyway. That's all it is. It's the adult version of that. You know, it's the adult version of I ain't want you anyway. You know, but we have people out here, man, they making relationships harder than they already are. The biggest difficulty with relationships is that you're trying to build a life with another person who grew up with a different gender, different perspectives, different experiences, um, different understanding, so forth and so on. Y'all trying to come together and figure it out and build a life together. You know, that's difficult enough. All this other shit, it's like a waste of time, man. You know, and even with and the different things you add into it adds different layers of complexity. Like you have guys, you have black guys that be like, oh, I'm gonna go get me a white girl, and they go get a white girl, and they don't understand completely that um, you know, you have all of that other stuff. Then you have your own issues of however you were raised, with your ideas about white people. Then you have her with her ideas about, people your group. And then, you got to deal with how she sees relationships, which are different, Um, and so that's another layer of difficulty, which, I'm not saying don't get with anybody. Listen, I am a interracial relationship matchmaker unofficially. I'm the plug, and I've always been. You know, my wife is white, and but it's like you got to deal with that. Even if you're dealing with people with other ethnicities, Africans and African Americans are different people. We're different people than you know, blacks and Afro people from the Caribbean. Different people. Latin Caribbean people are different than English speaking Caribbean people. You know, just because y'all all look alike doesn't it doesn't account for the differences, and they're very big differences. You know, very different ideas, very different customs. The DNA is different. You know, you got to take all of that stuff into account. If you want everything to be really, really easy, marry a cousin. If not, come off that dumb shit. you know, Cortez says they literally do that on the Blue and Pop show. When dude says he's not into him, they pretend they don't like him. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They've been at that Doctor Keith Elam. which he's just coming over there. He's coming on there just shit on chicks anyway, and it's like it becomes a contest of who can shit on who first. Because that's all he's on there for. Because realistically, a guy like that, Black Dennis, 6'4", 6'5", 10% body fat, money and stuff like he them women shouldn't be in the same room with him. Especially not no chick with 8 kids. They shouldn't even be in the same room. They they should never come into contact with each other unless she was bringing her kids to his office to get their teeth fixed. In terms of dating and association and networks, they shouldn't even be in the same room. He Real tens are who he should be dabbling with, not these bitches with coming on there with crooked wigs and clothes from Timu. You know, she know all the fashions, but she don't own them. You know, and then them chicks. If you got 5 kids and you coming on a dating show, you need your ass whooped. You really do. You got a baby that's 6 months old. Go home and raise your kids. We don't need more dumb kids out here in the world. You trying to you trying to get a boyfriend and dating. You got all these high standards. No, you better just get you a motherfucker that like you and that's gonna help you with them kids. You know, I think that's the big thing with black people that they're too busy dissing each other. Everybody wants to tell everybody else you're average at best. I think that's what's going on. Everybody want to stunt and flex on everybody and slam dunk on everybody. You know, and I think that's the state now. You're getting like that with white America. You're starting to see more and more of that. And all the white girls want to now. Um, they they all want to be Kim Kardashian and have OnlyFans and stuff, which is dangerous. It's dangerous because most of them can't fight. you know. Um, Cortez Smith says on the latest viral episode, a chick actually made fun of a dude for having muscles. You know what? I'm gonna tell you something, man. The muscle thing is a recent phenomenon. When I was growing up in the '80s, chicks like real skinny guys, that real skinny like Soldier Boy skinny with the big heads. Like if you had muscles or something, girls was like they didn't like you, man. And I guess maybe it had something to do with the age because I was in high school, but it seemed like girls didn't like that. Like back in the New Edition days, they didn't like the muscle dudes. Then I started seeing that women really got into the muscle guys like around um I would say like the 20 I would say like I would say like around 2000 in the 2000s that's where it kind of started changing where they start liking guys with more muscles and stuff, looking more fit and strong. They got away from that skinny Mickey Mouse dancer look, And Cortez Smith says, and then black people think average is terrible. Yeah, man, I don't. Yeah, this Kangs and Quains shit has went too far in the mind of the American black person. You know, Everybody think that they're phenomenal and they're not. You know, just because you can wear some tight clothes and tight colorful clothes, everybody think that they're phenomenal and they go get one of these goofy corporate titles with a whole bunch of words and stuff. Everybody think that they're phenomenal and outstanding, and it's like, you know, there's nothing, like something's wrong with average, you know, and they don't really understand. It's like a this insecurity thing where everybody feel like they got to be outstanding, and it's like you're living your life trying to look outstanding to other people, you know? Just live your life and enjoy yourself. It's like people can't enjoy themselves because they constantly gotta be on for the public at all times. You know, that's what it seemed like, man. To me, I don't know if I'm explaining it well, but that's what it seems like. So, um, Cortez says, I think the beach thing on TV made them want muscle dudes, but even then, they didn't care that much. It was just popular. Cortez Smith says, I like the 70s. Like in the 70s, a lot of male singers were very slim. Yeah, man. Back 70s and 80s, everybody was real skinny, man. Like now, everybody is built. Hey, hey, it's raining, and I know y'all gonna hear this in the background. It's gonna mess up the sound to this live stream. I'm gonna shut this down. I'll come back at you guys tomorrow, sometime tomorrow. I appreciate you guys being here. This is Mr. Royce Media. I'm about to shut it down. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace. Man, okay, man.